Good morning. Hi. Hello. Hey. How you doing? Good? Cool. Thank you for clicking here. If you're with me on the live chat today, say hi. Just let me know you're hanging out. I'm here. I'm going to be talking to myself unless you talk to me. All right. This is my little this is my little place on the internet. It's called Periwinkle Palace Arts. You're welcome to be here. Thanks for hanging out. I'm Princess Bun Bun, and I'm here with my bun buns to do art with you guys. That's all. We just do art here and talk about stuff, and it's not real serious. So, the first thing we do every morning is we say hello to the bun buns. So, say good morning, Maya. Oh, she's looking crazy today. She like, oh, my hair's all messed up. There you go. This is Maya. She's my fibromyalgia bunny, and I love her to death. I love her to death. In fact, I'm a little bit worried that she's going to get really worn out, like a Velveteen Rabbit type situation, because she goes with me everywhere. I love her. These eyes. Look at these eyes. They're so cute. Okay. You feel a little better? You get your hair right? Yeah? Are you going to sit in the same spot today? No. You want to sit in a cup holder. You never sit in a cup holder. Well, I did take your spot under the laptop. Really? Okay. Well, maybe later today I'll see if I can raise it back up. How about that? So for now you want to sit in a cup holder. Okay. Okay. We could do that. There you go, sweetie. Okay. And next we have Lektra. Now look, when Lektra talks to me, she gives me a very sporty Olivia Newton-John kind of feeling. That's who she is, okay? She doesn't like a bunch of frills and stuff, but she does like her little headband. Actually, it's a sleep mask, but I tuck it in and put it on her backwards. Lektra is the love rabbit. She's been through some stuff, y'all. She's been through some stuff. She's all stitched up and patched, you know. But she's still managing and she's still loving. So she's the they have another one. The original one is white, I think. But she is the electric love bunny. So, yeah. And then we have a special guy. This guy looks a little strange, okay? He is the, let me see if I can say it right, misophonia rabbit. What is misophonia, you ask? Well, it's when you hear sounds that really just grate on your nerves and they make you mad and really like irritated. And for me, it gives me anxiety. Like I start to tense up in my shoulders like this and I'm like, oh, I can't handle it. All right, so he has big no signs in his ears to try to help get those noises away from him. And he has 4 feet. I was gonna buy him some overalls. I can't buy him overalls. And it's a he, so I mean I might just have to get him a sweater or something. I don't know. Anyway, he's got the number 13, is that it? Yeah, on his tummy for good luck and getting away from those sounds. And there's little arrows on his feet. His extra feet, he has extra feet so he can go super fast to get away from the sounds. And the arrows on his feet are supposed to give him directions. But I'm not sure they really do. They all seem to be pointing in the same direction, honestly. Anyway, what else? What else? Okay, and he has this expression on his face, and it's the same expression I make on my face when the fan in my bedroom is clicking, rattling. It drives me insane. And there's sometimes where I'm super sensitive to it. There's sometimes when I'm not. Right now, I'm going through a period where I'm super sensitive to it. It's driving me insane. For that, I have these earplugs from Loop, and they're amazing. They have changed my life. I'm not using them right this minute because I have headphones in, but sometimes I have to take my earbuds out and put in the green ones, and then I have a set of headphones that doesn't go in the ear, it goes over the ear. So I'll put those headphones on over my earplugs. Anyway, this guy has a really long name. Let's see if I can remember it. This guy got named by my entire household. It happens that way sometimes. His name is not fully explainable, but his name is Mr. Wigglewums Wapiti Whisper www.shutthefup.com. That was my youngest. www. Yeah, and then our last name. I think that's all of it. But here's the deal. Wapiti is hard to explain because it's a you had to be there. We were at a party and a friend of ours ran up and went, "Loud noises, Wapiti!" And yeah, it was a long time ago, but we still remember it. I believe that was Joseph and Jules. I think it was Jules that did that. Not my kid, his friend. Anyway, when we're having problems with the ears, we call him Whisper because that's what I need everybody to do. But when he's not bothered by it and he's just chilling, we call him Wapiti. And when I'm really angry about it and I need the axe, he has this axe. That's why he has the axe. It's for banging loud noises. Then I call him www.shutthefup.com or www for short. That's the short version of his name, www, because there's a lot of W's in his name. Anyway, Misophonia Bunny, he's chilling with us today. It's going to be okay. I got you away from that clicky fan. I want to get him some headphones. They have some. Okay, today we're going to be starting on this big diamond painting. We kitted it up yesterday and got it mostly prepared. Let's see, we mounted it Monday, Tuesday, kitted up the drills, and today we're going to start on it. So I'm going to pull out things and show you how I do this. I was going to set everything up before I got on here, but I thought you might like to see the process. Also, I was really sleepy this morning, so I didn't get out here early enough. Let's be honest. Okay. But as I've been doing, I'm starting on this first. I've been sitting here doing this. And you can't see it, but I already have the diamond painting on my desk. And I will show you that too. There's a reason that I do it this way. Well, there's a lot of reasons I do it this way. But right now, I have my glass cutting boards sitting on top of it. Now, for one thing, it's still got a little bounce in it. It's a little bent. It will fully flatten out as we work on it. But when I'm doing one of these, I either do one of two things when I want to do a different activity. Either I pick up the entire mounted thing and I move it off my table with all of the stuff that goes with it on top of the mounting, or I move things out of the way and I set stuff on top of the diamond art and I just work on top of it. I'm not that precious about things. I used to be, I'm not now. So, I feel really nauseous right now. I took a Zofran before I jumped on here. It's starting to settle down, but if you see me going like, that's why. I'm fine. It's just a little nausea. I spend a lot of time dealing with that, so. I'm not here to tell you all of my medical problems, yeah, but sometimes they are relevant. If you happen to see me dancing or bouncing or nodding my head or humming or mouthing words that you can't hear or even sometimes singing badly, it's because I'm listening to music.
I'm
I don't
not
do
quite
it.
sure how to help you with that.
I didn't ask you anything, mister. Did I say Ziggy? I didn't say Ziggy. What's your problem? Anyway, I'm telling you, my echoes are trying to work themselves out of a job. What was I saying? Oh, music. Yes, I listen to music all the time. Um, I pretty much can't function without music. So, since I can't share that and just play my music in the background for you guys to kind of jam along with me, I found a little workaround. On the bottom of my screen, in this corner, did I point at it? I did. Um, in this corner, I have a little screen share right there of my Spotify mini player, so you can check out what I'm listening to. If you want to, I don't know. I mean, I'm not forcing you guys to do anything. You can do whatever you want. Because I do whatever I want. Okay, mostly I do whatever I want. Sometimes I have to do things I don't like, just like everybody else. And I'll whine and pout and stomp my feet. Not all the time, but sometimes I don't quite act like an adult. Can you tell? I talk to stuffies. No, there's nothing wrong with talking to stuffies. Well, other people think it's a little strange, but you know, you guys are here. I don't know what they want from me. It's not like anybody else is talking to me. If somebody else was talking to me, maybe I wouldn't talk to you guys. Right, no, you're right. I would still talk to you guys because I love you. Okay. So, a little bit about what I'm doing. It's a spiral or a spiroglyph, and we're just coloring it. They're just patterns that you don't know what you're coloring till it's finished, unless you cheat and look in the back of the book first. And I don't do that. I like the surprise. I like to know. I like not knowing what what it's gonna be until I'm done. That has almost gotten me in trouble a couple of times here, because I was coloring them and luckily I had a couple from a specific book, and I ended up coloring both of them, completing them off camera, which is good because that book, I think all of the glyphs in that book are bad words. One said the D word, one said F face, one said SH face, and then another one said the D word, referring to genitalia, and it said that word and snot. So I don't know if I'm gonna do those on camera anymore. This one is from the big book of music icons. So it's going to be somebody's famous singer. And I am using this red and brown Pigma microns. I'm using the 005 in red and brown. And I'm using the 05 in red and brown. I'm alternating them. So over here I started this line with the brown on the outside, outlining it, and the red on the inner. And then over here I started this line with the red on the outside and the brown on the inner. Sometimes I just like to do contrasting colors or whatever. I'm kind of into a muted colors thing at the moment, like browns, grays, I don't know. Anyway, where am I? Right here? I'm gonna go to like right here. And then we will move on to blinging. I just do these because they help me focus and tune in to my art in the mornings or anytime really. They are stress relieving for me, and they help my hands warm up and steady. And the more I have trouble with my hands during this time of year, the more I do this. It's also the problem with my hands is the reason that, or part of the reason that I went ahead and decided to go ahead and start doing this huge diamond painting, because there comes a point where I almost can't color at all during the time of year where my hands get really bad. But if I can't color, usually I can diamond paint. Now, if you want to see how I kit up my projects, go back to yesterday's videos. On both of those, I was kitting up, and on Monday's video in the afternoon is when I mounted the canvas. This thing's huge. It's the biggest one I've ever done. It takes up almost my entire desk. So that's why it took me such a long time to get all this started, is because I had to mount, kit up, and clear off my desk and move cameras around on my desk. All right. Now, I have made sure that the area I'm going to start on is in the frame here. I'm going to be starting in the middle, and I'll show you why as we get there. Oops, let me put these in here. I wanted to show you, I finished the blue one yesterday. It came out super cute. It's a kitty cat. A cute little kitty cat. I mean, I'm assuming it's a kitty cat. I haven't looked at the back of the book. I think it's a cat. Anyway, that's finished. I put that where my dog can't eat it. He's been getting in my trash can every single night this week and pulling things out and eating them, because I've picked up everything that he can get to that I don't want him to eat. So my dog eats paper. I don't know what to do. All right, we're gonna move these cutting board. This is going to boggle your eyes probably. Okay. Look, I've even got my mouse on it. When I'm working on one of these big things, almost everything goes on it. You know what I just did? I just closed my laptop. Okay, I'm sorry about that, everybody. Hang on. I messed up everything, didn't I? Okay. Sorry about that. So, like I said, it's a little bit bouncy right now. I'm trying to put the mouse out of the way so it won't slide, because when it slides, it shuts my computer down. I don't know where to put it. I'm gonna put it way up here. Let's try that. Hopefully I won't bump it. Okay. Bun buns are even on top of it. You know, I haven't done one of these in a really long time. And like I said, I've said it repeatedly, never done this one this big. I have no idea how long it's gonna take. A while probably. But I'm probably gonna be a little fiddly as I set up the process for this. So let's just roll with it, okay? This is what the image will eventually look like. That's the artwork. Again, this is from Diamond Art Club. The title of this piece is Muted Sound, and it's by Yume Art. It's so big. It's 20 inches by 26 inches. All right, the first thing I'm gonna do is, this is a personal preference. I'm gonna go through my jars, and I'm gonna put them in order by number. And the number that I put them in order by is not the white number. We used that yesterday. That's the number we do kitting up with. So I'm gonna pull out all of these jars that I had to make labels for, because they're gonna go out of the way. So we're gonna be going by the pink numbers on the labels. And I like to line them up in order of number. You don't have to, you can do them any way you want to. This is just how I like to do it. So 2, 3, I'm doing this number right here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Where's number 9? Oh, here it is. 9. That's 35. 10. 11. How did I get you guys all mixed up? 12. 13. 14. 15. 16. 17. 18. 19. I'm going to show you why I don't use the legend on the sides of the diamond painting. 19, 20. And it has to do with this little process I'm doing. 21, 2, 23. This is also the most colors I've ever done at one time on, like, I think the biggest one I ever did, the one that had the most colors, was like, I want to say it was 35 or 36 colors. 23, where's 24? There it is. 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. I hear you. I'm gonna eat my vitamins. 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. Now I have 4 spare jars back here. I'm going to put them in between the jars, the last color and the rest. This one I use for trash drills, which is just like the trash. I'll show you. And then the rest of these, they're extras of the colors. Like the colors that there's a lot of, they send extras. So I'm just gonna line those up back here. Okay, so that's our little setup right there. You see all of that? This insert, this is a foam insert that you can buy them separately, or if you buy like a case, which I have one down here, I'll show you. I have several cases, but I like to use the inserts. I like to pull out the insert and keep all of my jars organized like that. Okay, so we got that part set up. Next, this this will go in my not my scrapbook. This will go in my portfolio with all the rest of my art, and this goes in the back pages of my sketchbook. That's what I do with them. They're stickers. Let's go ahead and write the date on this. It's our start date. It is the 13th of August. Okay. Put these to the side. So we have our funnel. I showed you that yesterday. And I'm going to go ahead and clean up the blue tack on the bottom of here because I want it to be more flat than it was yesterday, because some of the diamond drills were going underneath it and sticking to the sticky tack. It's not my favorite thing. I use sticky tack for just about everything. If it needs to stick temporarily, I use sticky tack. If it needs to stick semi-permanently, I probably still use sticky tack. Okay. Give this a little bit of pliability. And we're going to pull it into 4 pieces. So we've got 4 little ones there, okay? This is one of the trays that I bought. I have lots of trays, some I love, some I hate. This is my favorite tray. And the tray is what you use to pour your gems into, and there's little grooves in it, and you shake it and they line up, and they flip up upright and they line up. Okay? I also have tweezers, but I don't need those at the moment. I have a different set of tweezers I use anyway. I don't need this anymore. I used this yesterday. And we have this case. This is what the insert came out of. I also keep extra trays. Sometimes I'll use a tray like this that's holds multiple colors if I'm doing a pretty intense area, but I don't do that very often. This is my brayer. I roll this over finished section to make sure that the blings are pressed down. We have my little container of wax. You will never run out of wax. They send wax in every kit. Wax is important. There's different kinds. I like the red and the purple the best most of the time. But there's also pink and blue's good sometimes too. And what I do is I peel off the protective cover and I stick the wax to the top of my container like that. And then I can just use my pen to grab wax right off of there. What else do we have? Okay, I have different pens. I think, like I said, I haven't used these in a while. I think both of them, the little thing comes off. Now, this little thing does not come off because I sort of drilled that out. It didn't really fit well in there. I drilled the inside of that end out so there's no threads, and then I shoved that in there and banged it and I super glued it. Okay, this is a square head for dealing with square diamonds. This is a round head tip for dealing with round diamonds. So I'm going to try, and I may have to just use this one. One of these ends comes up. There we go. So I'm going to take this off. I bought these pens on Amazon. I like this particular brand, B Note. They're pretty sturdy and they're comfortable for my hand, and that's a big deal. I also buy my tips separately sometimes because I like solid metal tips. I have bent and broken pens a lot. Okay, we're gonna need this. I also have this. It's a funnel. I used to use these funnels. They were the best I could get at the time. And they're silicone funnels. I'm trying to get this out of the package. The silicone funnels. And I would put them on top of the jar. The problem is they're not very sturdy, and you start pouring in there. They do have a lot of static discharge. They're silicone, and also the gems will hit these little ridges. They'll jump out, and it was a mess. And if you accidentally tap the funnel, your whole jar is gonna fall over. I don't use these anymore, but I have tips for using them if you need them. Okay, I have these stoppers. These go in these trays. I probably won't use them. Now, this is a piece of sugru. I don't know if y'all know what sugru is, but when I first started doing this, I didn't have the trays with the little chuts in them. So I made my own. And it works. It works really well. It's not pretty. It's I mean, sugru is sandable and paintable, but I didn't do all that. I just made it. Anyway, all right. What else do we have? We have a line guide. It's metal. We're going to put some of this stuff back in here because we don't need it all. Make sure I don't lose this. So now I have my, and there's a square one on this end too that comes off. I don't feel like I'm going to need these trays just yet. When doing this, I want to keep the area I'm working in as clear as possible. And I try to keep it pretty neat because otherwise it's kind of hard to swap between activities. And I have Scotch tape. This is Scotch Magic tape. It's important that I use the Magic tape because I also have Scotch Super Clear Scotch tape. It sticks too well to the surface, so we're not going to be using it. Okay, there's my blinging. I use this to line things up or to cut things. I have another line guide. These are both for circles. This one lets you put down every single drill. This one you put down half the drills in the pattern, then you pull it up and you put down the rest. And I've only used them a few times and I haven't decided which I like best. So there's that. Let me see what else is in here. Oh, I also have extra things. I have so many things. This is, okay, this is the funnel I used to use. You can see that I cut it apart. I cut the top off of it to make it more of a low profile thing, and it fits in the jar a little better because it's very wide down here. Again, I don't use that anymore. I will clean that out later, and I do keep the little tote with me on the I need to get myself away from this place. I said, yep, what a concept. I could use a little fuel myself, and we could all use a little change. I may not use this one, it's a little bent. Okay. I need another piece of sticky tack. I'm looking around because I know I have some stuck on my desk somewhere. That's fine though. We can do that later. This is a ceramic cutting blade. It's very tiny. I don't know, can you see that? Very tiny. I use this to cut my the film over the top. All right, I use these trays. They're just like restaurant trays. I bought like a 24 pack of them off of Amazon, and they're half size trays. And I also have like the regular size trays. Anyway, I use trays for lots of stuff. I like buckets and I like trays. That's my organizing profile. And clear containers. So I'm gonna put my funnel kind of like right here. I'm not gonna push on the top because I actually did break this by pushing on the top. I glued it back together. Anyway, I'm gonna press at the bottom and just kind of twist it a little bit. Sticky tack, it's stuck. I also have this. This is a sticky pad. I have lots of them, and I usually have one of these stuck to my desk over here on the side where you can't see, but it lets me like hold on to things. So we'll be putting that down there. The brayer I won't need right away, so I'll put that in the little pink thing. We're gonna need that right away. I'm not sure about scissors. We're gonna need our tray, tweezers. We'll stick this down later. We're gonna need our wax. What else? Okay, that. And we're gonna need our line guides. I haven't decided which one I'm going to use yet, but we'll get there. Now, what I need to do at the moment is move everything. And this is a part that I had planned on doing last night, but I didn't get to it. It's not like mission critical, but it is critical. It's important. I used to use my X-Acto blade or a craft knife, or even my Cricut like craft cutter to cut out my panels, my areas as I go. I don't do that anymore, and the reason is it is super easy to accidentally cut through your all the way through your canvas and not even realize it. And I've done it. I've done it, and I can show you how to fix it. If it happens, it's not the end of the world, but I try to avoid it, and that's why I started using this. All right. When I was mounting this, I did tape it a little bit weird, so we're going to have to account for that. I'm going to set this right down here on the floor. Okay. So this tape I put on a little bit weird, and I'm going to have to deal with that pretty much now. What we're going to do, let me see if I can zoom you guys out for this. Let's go here, and hopefully this won't mess up everything. Let's try, okay? I want to go to sources. I want to zoom you out a little bit so that you can see what I'm doing, and then we'll zoom back in. I hope this works. I try not to mess with this, but I kind of knew I was going to need to for this. I'm going to need to zoom you guys probably way in. And I hope this only affects this view. Okay. I'm just gonna, oh, not that way. Okay, there's that. This will let you see like a lot of the image that we're going to be working on too, because when we work on it, we're going to be zoomed way in. I think it's most important to get this edge in. You can see that my camera is really crooked. Okay. This is complicated. Give me a minute. I really should have done this off camera, but you know. I just messed everything up, didn't I? Sorry. Okay, we're just gonna drop that right there for right now. That's a hot mess, but we'll work with it. Okay, so this is the edge of my desk. I have, when we get to the very end of this diamond painting is when I'm gonna do this strip right here, because I think I'm gonna have to unmount the whole thing to do it, because when I folded it over, the whoop, there went everything. The edge, this last two lines went over the edge. I didn't mean to do that, but I'm not unmounting it and fixing it. Okay, buns. Can you guys move off there for me for a minute? I really need to get like a seat to put them up on. Okay, I want to get a swing is what I want. Okay. Okay, guys. No, I know. It's all right. It'll all be okay. All right. I'm going to cut around pretty much the entire area here, so that I can pull up this cover film, and then starting from the middle, we're going to smooth it down so that it's all flat. Is this important? I've seen people do it without doing any of the pre-steps that I did. Like I've seen people do it without any kind of board. Like they just roll it and work on a little section. Oh. I try to let go of my perfectionism a lot, but this is just one of those areas where I need to do it the way I do it. If you want to do it a different way, go for it. Anyway, it's not maybe critical that we do this. However, when you're sliding things across the surface, like, I don't know, like a tray. So, if you saw my videos yesterday, you know that these drills, they jump everywhere, right? So say you have drills in here and you slide them across here. If you slide it and it goes over the bumps in the surface, they're going to pop out of there and you got a mess. To avoid that, and, you know, just make the whole process a little easier for me, we're going to peel it back, like I said, and smooth it back down. Who needs a sip of coffee? Me. So for this, I'm going to use my X-Acto knife. I'm very careful though. Don't want to cut through it. I'm going to grab my ruler. Excuse me. Those are our coloring class pages that just fell over here that I hope that we can do some of this afternoon. Let me know if you want me to do colored pencil next or marker. I have a class for both set out. Hopefully this will not mess up the mounting, because like I said, I taped this weird. So I'm going to start over here. I am going to come in a little bit here, and I think all my washi tape is outside. We'll figure it out later. I'm going to come in like to probably right here. Let me mark that. I will mark things on here, but I mark them on top of the cover sheet, the cover film. So I'm going to come into about right here. You can barely see that, but I can see it. Okay. And I'm going to leave that part of the film untouched. And I'll probably tape that down as well. We'll see. I sometimes I have to do a lot of refiguring as I go through this process. And I just make the assumption that we're going to have to do that. So you never want to pull up the entire thing at one time, but you do want to cut the whole thing first. So I'm going to come here where I marked it. I'm going to line it up along that row of symbols. And I'm just going to very lightly bring this blade down that strip. And then I'm going to go to the next, and I'm going to keep it along that same line. Again, you don't want to press hard here. because you don't want to go through. You can't see this, I'm going off camera here, but I'm just doing the same exact thing in that same line. Okay, so that's one edge. And look, part of the reason that I do this, that I'm doing this live, is because I am still trying to learn how to use Final Cut Pro. Honestly, when it comes down to it, I feel like, at least for now, I'm more like the most important part for me is creating art, not necessarily creating the video. But I want to share. So, if I were to create a video of this, all of my mistakes, because, you know, it's embarrassing, I guess, I would probably cut out all the mistakes and everything interesting. Ooh. Don't shake the whole studio. I forgot to turn my time-lapse camera on though, so I'm kind of glad I hit that. Fine. All right. So you're going to see all the mistakes I make. You're going to see all the times I spill. Everything. You'll see everything. But I'm not shy. At least not live. I don't seem to be too shy. Okay, now we're going to go across the top. And I need you to pay attention here. Yes, I cut along the line in between two rows on this side. Remember, that's because I said I wrapped this around. And I need to save that for later. But up here, I'm cutting not along the edge of the canvas. I am cutting along the edge of the actual, they call it the pasting area. But there's glue under here. I don't know if I mentioned that. There's pre-applied adhesive on here. And that's why we're doing this. Again, lightly. You're really just wanting to cut through the film. Okay. We're going to move up here and do the same thing. Actually, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to cut this side on the side closest to me, and then we'll flip it around. There's a lot of flipping this around as we work. Okay. Okay, so see how this edge doesn't go over? So I'm gonna cut, I don't know, I might cut in a few, let's go to like the third line, because this is really close to the edge. I didn't even know if this was gonna fit on here. I actually bought a trifold board, like a 40 by 35, but it's trifold. I thought I was gonna need to use that to mount this. Now I do have other ones that are way bigger than this. I'm very picky about the expensive diamond paintings that I buy, because if I'm gonna do all this work, it's gotta be something I want to hang up and look at, and they are. Oh, I love them. So, let's do this long line first. And like I said, I'm just gonna go ahead and go in, like, okay, I'm gonna go in 4 lines. I'm somewhat making some of this up as I go. So, like I said, I'm gonna make mistakes, and that's just how it is. Art is, I mean, a large part of being an artist is making mistakes, honestly. And you have to learn to be patient with yourself And everything that I do is for me, even if it's like a project that I'm doing for a specific thing, or like I want to do this specific page and I want it to come out really good, or it's a gift for somebody or something. Even those, I consider them all practice. I'm practicing. If it comes out bad, it comes out bad. I'll fix it. I'll make it look better. I'll turn it into something else. It doesn't matter. In fact, the last diamond painting that I did was a really tiny one. It was only about this big. It was like 10 by 10. And I messed it up so bad um, that I was literally making it as a gift for this art pen pal that I have. It's a lady that I met online. I've never met her in person. As a matter of fact, I don't really know what she looks like, and I've never heard her voice, I don't think. Anyway, I met her in the Kit and Clowder coloring classes Facebook group, and somehow we ended up to start exchanging pieces of art, snail mail art, like surprise art packages. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like a little old fashioned, and but instead of sending letters, we send each other art. In fact, I have some art pieces sitting around here where you can't see, but when I finally get in my studio in like 10 years, that building out there, um, yeah, they'll be part of my background and stuff. Right now, you just have to like look at my refrigerator and stuff. All right. So now I'm going to cut along the top over here on this side. And same thing up here. All right. So now we've cut around all the edge. Move that. There's actually a scraper that I like to use better for this, but it's a rubber Mod Podge one, and I don't know where it is, so we're going to use the Cricut one. And and this ruler. So we're going to start on a corner, and I'm going to pull it up towards the center, okay? And then we're going to smooth it back down. We're going to do that on all four corners, and we're going to keep doing that until I'm satisfied. Until I'm satisfied. Just my little disclaimer that I try to make in every video if I can. I am not here to instruct you. I am not a professional. I am doing this based on what I've learned, information I've gathered, my experience, and I make mistakes. This isn't a tutorial. I'm here to do the daily art sessions that I do every day anyway, and yeah, share it with you. And we can chat about things. That's what we're doing. So this is where I need the tweezers. One of the reasons I need tweezers, pardon me, I really actually don't have that big of a surface area to work on. So I end up like always putting stuff around me on the floor. So I'm going to grab this edge over here at where I cut it, and I'm going to slide my tweezers underneath it. Now I'm going to carefully, okay, that's a piece of tape. I didn't quite get down to the cover. and put this little piece of tape on the edge of the desk. I might need it. Okay. Now, you may not have cut, I may not have cut all the way through here. So if I didn't, as I'm pulling it up, if it starts to tear instead of come up easily along the lines that I cut, I'll stop and I'll cut it a little bit more. Like right here, it's already doing it. And anywhere that I put that extra tape over it, I'll probably have this little problem. Let's get under that edge, because you do want it to come apart straight, otherwise you're just going to miss half of it. Okay, so that line came up really clean. Let's go across the top here. Okay, I'm going to pull this up till I get to about the middle. It does get staticky, that's fine. And I'm going to let this sit for a sec. And then, holding it up, I'm going to attempt to smooth it the best I can. Kind of like applying self-stick laminating sheets, where you don't run it through the little thermal thing. So I want to flatten this, okay? And this side over here, I'm going to let it lay back down, and I'm going to work solely here, but I try not to touch the actual canvas underneath, because it's got adhesive on it. And you don't want to mess up your adhesive. Though if it does happen, I have the adhesive to fix it. So I'm coming across the middle here. And if I see it not laying down, well, I try to do the middle first and work towards the outside edge. And sometimes I have to pull up some extra. And I'm trying to explain this the best I can. Sometimes art is more for me like showing than explaining. It works a little better. It's never going to be perfect. That's okay. You just want to get most of the bigger bubbles out. You can take your time. Just take your time. This is a craft for those who can be patient all the way through. The tape that I put over this area is getting in my way a lot. I didn't mean to do that when I was mounting it, but I did do that. Okay, now I'm going to use the smaller one and go through and try to, it's kind of like putting on a phone or a screen protector. I try to get all of the smaller bubbles to move towards the edge too, anywhere I see them. This piece of tape is in my way. You don't have to be as um, retentive, you know, about it as I'm being. I just know what I like. I know the result that I'm looking for. Okay. So, now, let me pull this back and show you. Can you see the difference between here and here? I know there's like a ring light on there. It makes it a little hard. I'm going to now do this side. And then we'll flip it around and I will do the other side. Why do I flip it around like that? I'm left-handed. This is the direction I need to work. I'm left-handed. Okay. Let me grab the edge. And try not to pull up any area that you already flattened down. Try. If it happens, it happens. Okay. The tape made it rip down here. But it's fine. See if I can show you. Right here. That ripped. But it's fine. Even if it rips, it's fine. I try not to rip it. And actually what I'm about to do is I'm going to go ahead and let it continue to rip. And I've never done that before. I just decided to do that this time. So now I try to smooth this out a little bit. Let it sit and smooth itself. If it really won't smooth out, on one of the smaller ones I did use a hair dryer for a few seconds on very low heat to blast it. I repeat, I've never done one this big before, so I wasn't expecting it to tear there. The last one that I did that was a bigger one was about this big. It was a square. Actually, it's right over there. I need to unmount it and finish it. So we might take some time to do that in the next few days so I can show you. It's one of my favorites. Okay, they're all my favorites. I don't do them if they're not my favorite. Okay, I have some that I bought from Amazon that I'll do when I'm bored. The cheaper ones. But these big ones, I only buy them if I absolutely love it. And I'm very particular because these are big, you know. You can't hang them all over your house, theoretically. So, in our new house, when we move, there's a room that it's an open room. It doesn't, like, it's not closed in anywhere. And it's the main room that leads off to the other hallways and the kitchen and into the glitter room. Yes, I have a glitter room. It's big and it's going to be for me and my husband to share. Not the bedroom. It's going to be our workroom. It's going to be awesome is what it's going to be. And then I'll also have my wood shop that's off the garage. So like for all my, y'all, your girl likes power tools. I don't use them very often right now because they're hard to get to because they're packed into a pod outside. And living here, we don't have a wood room here. I have to put that stuff outside my yard, set it up, you know, saw horses or whatever, and try to work. And then if it starts to rain or whatever, it's a problem. I've lost whole projects because it rained on them because I live in the south. All right. And then I will also have my building to do just my stuff in. It's going to be nice. All right. Since I ripped this, I'm going to go down this. This is kind of like the middle now. I meant to use the roller for that. Just because it's a bigger area. And then the side. Of course, make sure we're going these ways too. Alright, tape. Tape in the way. I don't know why I did that. But every time a ruler hits it here, it just pulls it up. And pull it back a little. I can tell you this, the reason that I can do this part so well is because I never had a thermal laminator and I like to laminate stuff. I got very good at it over the years. I use my fingers too to feel it. I let it go. Oops. I'm just grabbing the tape off the edges. All right. Let's turn her around. Sorry. I have more tape. I don't know why I'm trying to keep this tape. Goofball. Okay, again, let me show you. If you can see, we've smoothed from like right here down. So you can see it's pretty smooth. Up here we still have all these bumps and ripples. This also will make it easier for you guys to see. Because for wrinkles, they make it hard to see. What I was saying about that small one that I did, I ended up messing it up, and I already had the rest of the project done. So I actually rebought that particular bling, and I redid it. I used the one I messed up to test the rest of the project parts, and I still have it. And if you ever want to see that, I have most of it on video. Most of it. The whole project. It's one of those situations where you're working on a piece of art and you're like 98% finished with the whole project, and then something goes wrong, messes up the critical part of the project. You cannot fix it. And then the last 2% of the project takes you like 85% of the time of the entire project. You ever been in that situation? I'm trying to get the tape over it off before I even pull this up. It's seriously annoying me. Ow! That hurt. It was like adhered Chinese finger trap situation. Is this a piece? No, that's where it ripped. Okay. I think that's a piece of tape, maybe. Okay. So now this is the side that ripped. So I'm going to carefully come up here where it ripped. And what that probably means is that I didn't cut it well enough right there in that little spot. So I'm just going to, yep, that's what it means. I'm going to cut there again. And then come over here to this side, my tweezers, sideways, and I find a little hole. I don't slide them back and, well, what I do is I kind of slide it towards the edge and lift up. Carefully, carefully. I got another little spot right there. As you see, it's not going to matter, but I don't like when it's not cut right. There's a piece of tape right here. That tore, and I didn't want it to. Man. It makes it harder to pull up sections of it when you're working through it if it rips. It just makes it a little bit more difficult. I'm gonna pull from this side, come along here. I need to get that piece to come up with the rest of it, or it's gonna tear even further. I need to get it to come up together. Come on, man. And grab both edges, pull it up together. I'll put, look, it's just ripping everywhere. Okay, there's the big tear. That's a mess right there. I don't know if you guys can see that edge. Like, probably not, right? Okay. I'm gonna try to be careful doing this part. Where's the pink roller? This makes it a little difficult when it tears, I'm not gonna lie. That's why I use this roller, because I've broken it before doing this. Okay. I was gonna go down the middle, but let's just use this roller and come straight down this way, huh? I've heard, I mean, there is supposedly a simpler way to do this, using something called release paper. I've never had this particular issue where it's tearing on before, so I've never tried them. Like I said, supposedly they make this part easier. You just peel off, I think you just peel off the plastic film and then you put the release papers on it. But what I don't like about it is that they're solid. They're like colored and solid. And you can't see the design. I like to see the design while I'm working on it. That's just me. I feel like some people might like think it's cool kind of to be surprised, which is fine. It's just weird. Like, I like to be surprised when I'm doing my spiral color, but I like to look at the image that I'm working on while I'm working on a diamond painting. Alright, that's pretty good right there. I'm going to very carefully use my fingers to smooth these edges down that are messed up. I'm just trying to get the bubbles out, the majority of it. Okay, this little piece, I do want to get it as smooth as possible, but mostly I just want it to stick back down there and cover the whole thing, because I don't want to get dust and hair stuck to it. And that's kind of the purpose of the film in the first place. Okay, I'm going to do this edge now. We're almost done with this part. I guess I need to throw this ruler away. Hang on. Yeah, I don't know where my triangle rulers went. That's fine. Okay, there was a big bubble right there. So I'm going to start over here and smooth this back down where it already was smoothed down. And now I'm going to come here along this side. I'm trying really hard not to pull this side up very much, because I don't want to deal with the torn areas again. Almost there, guys. You're probably like, are we ever even going to start on this thing? I promise. And I also promise that what I'm doing makes the whole thing go easier throughout the whole project. I haven't done a big one like this because I wanted to get decent at working on smaller canvases before I move to a big one. Over the whole thing. And you want the film to make sure it sticks back down there, because that protects your work while you're working. All right, that's done. I'm gonna pick it up and try to show you in the camera. Can you see how flat that is? No more bumps. So this is our image. This is what we're going to be working on. The part numbers for each of these videos are probably going to get like in the double digits, pretty high. Okay. We'll clean all of that up later. Right. Okay. I wanted to show you again the legend diagram on here, because I'm going to show you why we don't need it. It looks exactly like the labels. Let's just grab a couple of jars. All right. The pink number, that's the number. It's not even a necessary number, but I use it to keep the jars in the order that I want them in, and make sure that I go through them all for each area. I'll show you. In the middle, you have the symbol. So your E is your E right here. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm trying. And then you have your DMC number, which is the number that identifies the specific color. Okay? And that's here. You don't need this at all, as long as you have this sticker on the lid. I show you. So you've got 7 here, and you've got your little your symbol. This is jar 7. The symbol is a gray square with a 7 on it, and then you've got your DMC number. So this legend has the same exact thing that the label has on it. If you look at our canvas, you can see that we have all of our symbols on here. So you don't need the legend, because here's the 7. Let me see if I can find one. Look, right here is a row of 7s, gray 7s. So I know this jar goes on those. This is E, and it's a dark blue. I'm not seeing one. Hang on. Here we go. There's a lot of them right here. So it's a blue square, dark blue, with a E on it. You put that, or you find a blue square with an E. I know that seems really simplistic, but you don't need the legend. Okay? just the label. Okay, I'm going to bring all of our tools back now. Oh, there's the triangles. All right. I'm going to zoom back in. So give me a second to do that for you guys. This might be harder than zooming out was. I'm probably going to put my, yeah, I'm going to put my little piece of glass back up here so I can line this up correctly. The way I know exactly where this goes is because I have this underneath that. I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do this. I'm gonna do it anyway, because it being crooked was driving me crazy. How about that? So now you can see there's actually quite a lot going on my desk during these videos that you guys don't see. What? I gotta have some privacy, and my desk is usually a nightmare of a mess. Alright. Almost there, guys. That looks pretty good. I don't know if that changed the thing on the other screens. I hope not. I really hope not. That's why I did it on the screen. I'm trying. What have I done? I've created a nightmare, y'all. We good? Good. So, I'm all about experimenting and creating things and all that. But another thing that I really am big on is doing things efficiently. Like if I can find a faster, easier, more streamlined way to do it, you better believe I'm gonna. Okay, real quick, let me check if this messed up our other screen. Did it? A little bit. That's not cool. I like this screen better. Okay, we'll go with the other one. It's fine. I'll fix that later. I needed to do that though. I also need to figure out how to change the view on one screen without affecting the view on the other screen. That was annoying. Probably because it's using it as a reference. Instead of, like, when I pasted it, I probably pasted it as a reference and not a copy. So, there's that. Okay. I'm moving this around a little bit because, next tip, it doesn't really matter when you're doing a small one, but believe me, it matters when you're doing a big one. I used to start at the top and work my way down or across, and I used to go from left to right. I don't do that anymore. It is easier for me to start in the center and work outwards. And if I'm gonna go in a circle, I go from, like, if I'm working right here, then I'm gonna move it this direction or turn it this way, not that way. Because when you turn it like this way, if you're right-handed, turn it this way, work your way around. If you are left-handed, go this way. So yeah, turn it like this way and work your way around this way. Work towards your left if you're left-handed. Work towards your right if you're right-handed. There will come a point where it's unavoidable because you have so little space to work in, but trust me when I tell you that rubbing your hands over the drills you've already put on over and over and over as you work on a section next to it, it starts to hurt after a while. Those little things rub. And I'm really sensitive to stuff like that. You may not be, but that's my next tip for you. So we're going to start in the middle. I have used this one before. I have two more exactly like it, same shape and size. This one's a little bent up, so I'm gonna try to find the other one like this later. For today, we're gonna use this one. I have only used this one twice, so we'll see how it works. Give me a second. I do have to think about these things too, like where I want to put it, how I want to put it. You can't put it diagonally. Well, you might could, but I wouldn't. I think we're going to start right here-ish. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the canvas. What do I mark the canvas with? Well, let me tell you something. I've tried lots of different stuff to mark the canvas with, and it's not easy. Because Sharpies and all the markers, pens, ink, rubs right off of it. Why is that a problem, you ask? You're removing the film. Yes. But somehow it gets on the canvas anyway. I don't really understand it. So what I do instead, of course I don't have that thing I had here yesterday. What did I do with it? Give me a second, guys. I'm sorry. Oh, I see it. I'll be right back. I don't need coffee, but I'll be right back. I'm back. So you can use a regular old sewing pen to do this. I have found, personal opinion, that they make the hole a little bit too big if you accidentally punch through the canvas. Hear me out. My husband bought me a new pin cushion, and it came with these little birdie ones. They're cute, right? Well, they're also super thin. They're about I want to say they're 50%ish thinner than a regular sewing pin. So I pick the spot I want to start, and I line up the guide, and I poke gently into that one. It's going to make a little bubble there. I try not to poke through the canvas. I try to poke just the film, and then I use that to ensure that I'm lined up on the rest. This one might not perfectly line up, y'all. It doesn't perfectly line up. Okay, so what I do in that case is that I come along the line here. I'm looking down this way. This one's lined up, and I'm looking down this way. And there comes a point where you can see the symbols start to get out of line. So like right about here, they start to slide over. That's okay, I can still work with that until it gets about right here. Because on all of them, this way, all the way up here, you can see the entirety of all of the symbols until you get to this one right here. This blue, I guess it's an N. What is that? Yeah, it's an N. And then the green heart right here is halfway underneath this dot. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to break this, if I can, the ruler. But for right now, I'm going to stop right here instead of continuing to go the full way. And I'm going to mark this little blue N right here. Kind of pull the canvas up. Now I'm going to come up to this corner, make sure everything's lined up, and mark this outer edge corner. And then right here where the N is, I'm going to come up on that line, and I'm going to mark the outer edge right there. I didn't mean to poke that all the way through, but as you'll see, it doesn't matter. All right, so I've marked a 4, one of these dots, the star, and the N. You can feel it if you gently rub your finger over it. This is where I need my little triangle rulers, because I'm going to line this up so that the corner of my ruler, I wish you could see this, it's so clear, the corner of my ruler right here, I'm going to line up so that it is sitting over the star that I marked. I'm losing my place here. Where'd it go? Is that it? Yeah, right here. Okay, this U right here and this star right here. I'm going to put the ruler over those two marks, and I'm going to line them up so that I can cut around it. I don't want to cut past there. Make sure you line it up really well. And now I'm going to use this to cut my line. Even this you need to use gently. It will cut all the way through the canvas. Okay, so now I have a line that goes past them. I'm going to do that this way. I'm going to make sure all of my corners line up on my ruler, and then I'm going to use that to cut my edge. I'm going to use this one because it's a little bit longer. So right there. Alright, make sure I line that up pretty good. It's not going to come all the way over yet. I'm going to hold this really tightly. This is difficult for me. It's a little bit harder for me right now because I'm trying to also show you. And bring it towards me a little bit. I suppose this part might be a little easier if you're using release paper. Again, I don't really know. I've never used it. I've never seen anybody in real life use it either. Like videos, yes, I've seen. But I'm sitting here wondering why this isn't lining up, and I forgot that this line right here on the outer edge of this line guide is here. The next one comes down here, and they go back and forth like that. The one that I used out here on this end was one of the inner ones. So I need to recut that line because I need to line it up with this one, not the inner one. Just stay with it. We'll get there. I was like, why is this not lining up? I figured it out. This is what I used to do the washi tape method for, where you washi tape all over it. I got tired of that. It makes it a little bit easier to see your lines, but it's not that important. This is driving me crazy. I have another ruler that has these true grips on the bottom of it. That'll help. It's slipping on me. It will get easier, I promise. I'm actually gonna grab my green blade, wherever it is. Oops, there it is. I'm gonna do this with the green blade because it's just easier. This has a slanted tip, so you kind of have to lean it over a little bit. I won't cut through the canvas. I won't cut through the canvas. I will not cut through the canvas. Alright. Make sure this line is also straight. If you go fast, it won't cut through the canvas. If you're going slow, you might have a problem. Okay. On this side, my line went straight across because I did it, the bottom line goes straight across. Alright, and the last spot is right here, and I'm facing that towards me so that I can see the line because it's kind of far away from me being in the middle like this. All right. So, I need a pulling thread. I'm gonna lay this direction. The reason I'm laying this direction is because I'm gonna put tape right here on this wide edge right here and right here on this wide edge. This area that started to get out of line, I'm also gonna put tape on that. And sometimes I try to put tape along this edge, but it doesn't work too well. That's the finicky part. But first, we need to do the same thing we did on the edges and lift up the film, and we're going to pull that right off completely. I didn't cut that very well. This little edge, because I went back up because it wasn't lined up correctly, so I'm just gonna basically snip that. We're gonna peel it back. Get this little edge. It's kind of important-ish to get the whole piece pulled up, because if you don't, if you miss a little piece here and there, what'll happen is you'll go to stick the drill to the canvas. The film might still have a little piece there. You won't see the film there, and when you try to stick the drill down, it's not going to stick because it's covered. All right, so you really can't even see where the area is now. Let me line this back up. Right here with this 4, not this first line, but the second line is where we started. And you want to lay this down kind of careful, because now you're dealing with the sticky area. Make sure you get it lined up on those two at the end. So I've got my 4 in there, and I've got my blue double dot in there. And as it comes down, if it gets unlined up, I'm gonna lift it back up a little bit and shift it, and I'm watching as I lay it down. So there's a benefit to using these. There's also a downside. Part of the downside is that it can be super finicky. But once you've got it on there and lined up, and you pull your dog hairs out of it. Gross. Come here, dog hair. It's there. Now, the magic tape, the Scotch magic tape. This is overlapping the clear film right here. Tape it down good. Come along the bottom. And I like to tape down the whole edge, even though we only go up to like right here. As much of it as I can tape down, I tape down. I don't worry about taping down up here because it's just difficult. I'll explain later. And then I'm gonna bring this tape right here, make sure that I find the marks I made, and I'm gonna tape right past them. This lets me know to stop there. You don't want to put your tape over the parts that have the exposed plastic pulled off, that have the plastic pulled off of it, because your adhesive will stick to your adhesive. Doesn't work out well. This Scotch Magic tape, it's kind of slightly translucent instead of completely clear, and it has a little bit less tack to it, so it makes it easier to see the tape, for one thing, than if you use like the super clear. And while you want this to stick very well while you're doing it, you also want to be able to peel it up easily, and the Scotch super clear is much harder to pull up. So that's why I like the Scotch Magic tape. Don't let that overlap your dots. Okay. And guess what? We're almost ready. If you want to, if you have a preference for this afternoon's live stream and you would rather continue working on this instead of coloring, let me know. I'm considering it myself. But if nobody answers me, then I'll just do whatever I feel like doing. Oh, that's what I do anyway. All right. It's warm in the house today. All right. I'm going to keep these out. This too. I stick that into my foam insert. Throw this ruler in the trash. It's old. 10:34. You guys ready to actually get started here? I never ever know how long projects are going to take, and I don't rush. So just know that. That's who you're dealing with. Get everything lined up how I want it. You got to make sure that you're going to work in a way that is ergonomic, friendly to your body. I'm pulling this a little bit towards me so that I can easily see the dots, but not too far because I don't want to lean on it and have the whole thing come up on me. So I like to start with fresh wax in my pen. That's probably just a me thing. Can you please get these things out of your way? So I will take my pen tip, which has old wax in it. I only do this when I'm starting a new project, usually. I'm going to take my tweezers and stick it down in there a little bit and just kind of like scoop the wax out that's in there. It looks kind of gross. Can you see that? bottom. And there's the wax. We can just throw that away. If your wax has like a whole bunch of holes in it, you can peel that off and throw it away too. And now I'm going to fill up the pen. So I'm going to put it into the wax a couple of times until there's wax sticking out the end. And you just push it in there. Well, that didn't work. Do you see that? It just left the circle of wax I tried to get in there. It does that sometimes. But it'll eventually pick it up. And then you just put it in there again, and it puts another bit, and you keep doing that until it's basically full and won't pick up anymore. All right. And I'll press on it a little bit just to make sure it's in there good. That's how you pick up the wax. The wax in your pen is what's going to let you pick up the dots. Are you guys ready to do the first one? Oh my goodness! About time, right? All right, take your tray. If it's staticky, you can also use a dryer sheet to just wipe out your tray. If you have a little stopper, put your stopper in. I go in order of number across these, right? So I go in order. So I'm going to look at number 1 at the first jar. Oh, I forgot something. This. The sticky pad. This is a brand new one, so it's very sticky. Now, when they get unsticky, you can just pull them off, whatever you're doing. Take them and wash it with soap and water. Pat them dry with a paper towel. And they get sticky again. I have so many of these. Alright, so I just put this somewhere on the canvas for now. And let it stick. Ta-da. Now I have a spot to set my tray where it won't wiggle. It's not going anywhere. Though, with a brand new sticky pad, if you push it down too hard, you might have to do that. I also use the sticky pad to hold my jars. So like that, okay? We're gonna take this number 1. I'm gonna look through here and see if I see this symbol anywhere in this area. Kind of like looking for crossword. Is crossword puzzle? Not a crossword puzzle. Not where you fill in the word search. It's like looking for the letters in word searches. I don't see any of that one. Do we have any 2s? Yes. There's 2s in this one. Woohoo! So there's some right here. Here. And like there. Alright. These are Aurora Borealis ones. All of the 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s are the ABs. So all you're going to do is you're going to pour a few into your tray. It doesn't matter how many you pour. I try to remember to put the lid back on after I pour. I don't always. I stick it to my sticky pad, or I'll put it on this tray over here. Alright? And remember, I've got my funnel right here sitting on the tray as well. Pick up your tray. You can tap it a little. You can shake it back and forth a little gently. These things actually really just line up on their own. And you don't have to get them all flipped over, and you don't have to line them up perfectly, though sometimes you'll see me sit here and shake it until they are, just because it's kind of soothing. Now you take your pen, you got wax in it, got your wax, okay. You put that wax down gently on top of one of the stones that's turned up. You don't have to press. Then you find your symbol on your canvas, poking through your little hole on your line guide, and you set it down. Easy peasy, right? All of that just to do that. We've placed our first bling on our bling. We are blinging now, folks. And we're going to do this for like the next 15 minutes. Okay? If you have any questions about anything I did today, please do leave me a comment. Look, and the whole time that I've been doing this for like a month or so, I've gotten one comment. One. So if you leave me a comment, I promise you I will see it. I'm not complaining that nobody else has commented. I'm just saying it's not like I'm overwhelmed. If you leave a comment, I will see it. I will respond. Absolutely. It's happened. Why does I have depresso? Do you know what depresso is? I say it all the time. Depresso is the feeling that you have when you run out of coffee. And I has it. It's okay. I really need to hydrate. Okay, ladies and gents, here we go. The bunnies have never seen me do this before. All right. You never seen me bling before. You ready? We're gonna do it. Here we go. We pick it up. Put it in there. Now sometimes you want to wiggle it a little bit so that it will go into the little hole in the line guide. If you were doing this without the line guide, which you'll see me do that after we fill this in, we pull up the line guide and then we go back. It's kind of like a checkerboard pattern. We go back and fill them in. So you'll also see me do this without the line guide. And that's where this bad boy comes in handy. That's my straightener. Also, when you have a lot of wax on your pen, you'll notice, if you're looking closely, that there's a little bit of wax on the top of your gemstones. Don't even worry about it. Just leave it alone. I used to try and like rub it off every time. By the time you're done, that wax will be gone. A thing about wax that is a good tip, actually, that I can give you is there is kind of a difference in the texture and the stickiness of the different colors of wax. But what's most important to me is if I'm working on a dark area, it doesn't matter what color the wax is that I'm using. But if I'm working on a lighter area, it does. Because if that wax gets stuck to the canvas, which happens a lot, I mean, not a lot. It happens more with the round drills than with the square drills. I like square drills better, but I love this image, so I needed this painting. All right. So if I'm working on a light colored area on the canvas, like maybe in here, I will use a wax for that kind of matches the area if I can. It's not always possible, but if I can. So if you've ever done like a paint by number or anything like that, this is kind of the same thing. It's just instead of using liquid paints and a paintbrush, you have gems, you have an applicator, and you match the gemstone colors to the symbols on the canvas. Make sense? Now, I'm going really slow right now, but I'm going to tell you in advance. At least I've been told by other people who would do this with me that I'm really fast. When I get focused, I get really fast. So We'll see. We'll see how I measure up, okay? I'm getting in the groove right now. And I do have a new light that I bought that I'm going to bring out in the next few days and figure out where I want to put it because it has a magnifying glass on it. So I'll be looking through that at some point, especially for these areas that are farther away from me. I prefer to work like up close, like in this area, so I can be like this and I can tilt my head to deal with the glare, but I wanted to start in the middle. Do I have any more of those in this area? I don't see any. If you miss some, it's fine. You'll see them again later. I open my jar. Trying to show you. And I put my jar with no lid under the funnel. I unstick that carefully. It'll get less sticky later. I'm gonna pull out my little stopper right here. You can do this different ways. You can just tilt it and you can run something across the little lines. I don't like to do it that way because after a while it starts to create notches in your ridges in your tray. It'll mess them up. So what I do instead usually is this. And then I pour them in. Also notice there's no problem with the static anymore. That's because the fabric softener pieces sat in it overnight. Where'd I put the lid? Oh. Now I grab the next jar. This is how I go through it in the series. I have this area, right? I start with one and I work my way through all the colors. I look for the color. If I have the color on here, I pull it out and I use it and I put it back and I go to the next color. And I just do that for every little section. It doesn't feel, I mean, sometimes this can feel a little overwhelming when you get started. And I find that to be a way that keeps it from being so overwhelming for me. Yes, you can get overwhelmed by your own art. So do we have this even? I didn't look. Yeah, we have some 3s in there. They're not all symbols of numbers either. So like, it goes usually till like 9, 10, 11. Like when they run out of numbers, they'll start using letters, letter. And then when they run out of letters, they start using symbols. And I think what they do, especially with the more expensive ones, is they try to ensure that they don't have any symbols that look like the numbers or the letters. So, for example, I don't see a number 6. It's an E. So they have a number 9, I'm pretty sure. No, they don't have a number 9 either. So there's probably like some symbols in here that, if you can't see too well, might look like a 6 or a 9. So they just didn't include those numbers, and it's fine. But usually, from my experience, the first 5 to 10 symbols in your set will be numbers. I like to look at my area and get a good idea of where most of them are. So I think that the only 3s in here is this line right here. Those are all the threes. You really can't see this, can you? About, okay, I'm trying to keep everything in the screen, but also have it zoomed in enough that you can see the actual what's going on. Next jar. This is a light green 4. Or light yellow, kind of. And I see 2 right here. I'm going to show you another way I do this sometimes. Pen. If I only need a couple, I'll do this. Grab one. Stick it on there. Grab another one. Stick it on there. And that's done. What about 5s? Do we have 5s on here? Yeah, we have some in this area right here. All right. Sometimes I'll just go ahead and set the jar into the funnel. That's why, one of the reasons that I stick the funnel down to the tray. I don't want it to move. Like I said, I'm going slow right now because I haven't done this in a while. And I'm just not in the groove yet. And also because I'm trying to show you. Can you see that? Can you see that? Where's my hand in the way? I think I'm going to have to really adjust my camera so y'all can view this better. And when I say really adjust, I mean do a major adjustment. Okay, that's all of those. Look, there's a little blue one stuck in here. So I'm going to take that out. My pen. And tap it off in the jar of the blue ones. Grab that purple one. I can tap that off in the funnel. Now we've got this E. Do we have any E's down here? Okay, I don't see any of these. So we're just going to put it back and move to the next one. Do I have any gray 7s? I feel like I'm on, like Wheel of Fortune. Asking for vowels. Yeah, we got a few 7s here, here. Not a lot, just a few. Don't do that, she says to herself. Now I see that there's a little purple one in here. I don't know exactly what purple that one is, so I'm not going to put it in a jar right now. I'm just going to put it on my little sticky pad. It may never go back in a jar, who knows. Sometimes you'll get one that doesn't really seem to want to fit in there. I call those trash drills. Usually, if I come across those, and I'm not using a line guide, I will just throw them away. I do have a matching little tiny trash can for this. I just didn't get it out yet. But if I'm using a line guide, sometimes you can press it down into the center of the little hole, and the metal will actually break off the edges that are messing it up. Okay, that's all of the 7s. Come on there. And we got 8s. Are there any 8s? This will actually go faster too once I've basically, after a few squares, I memorize what the colors are because I go through them in order. I don't try to memorize it, it just happens. I see some 8s right here and here. I will go ahead and say this is a project that sometimes I will probably do off a little bit of it off camera because it's going to take us so long anyway. You won't even notice if I do some off camera unless I have like a whole weekend where this is all I do. That happens sometimes. Little 8. I don't see any more 8s. Do you see what I just did? That's why I put the funnel on the tray. I put the jar back in here instead of putting it in the funnel. Now, I'm going to move these things off of here real quick. And I'm going to tap the tray to make the drills come towards me. They're really lightweight, so they will go everywhere, like I said yesterday. I got a few on the I just pick them up with my finger. I press down. Okay. I'm gonna put these back in the tray. And I'm gonna put the jar under the funnel. Try this again. If you could see, I got these little ones stuck right here. You can do that. They might fly somewhere. But I just budge them out of there. Alright. What about teas? Do we have these gray teas? Yeah, a few. It's 11:03, so I'm going to pour these out, and I'm going to leave this. I'm going to go handle my lunch stuff. I'm just going to leave all this just like this. I'm going to go handle my lunch stuff. I'll come back after lunch, and depending on how I feel and what I feel like, we'll either keep going on this, or we'll start one of the classes. And if you happen to message me or comment on this live or the lives from the past 2 days and tell me which one you'd like to see me do first, I'll go ahead and do that one. I'll get both of them ready. So we have this one. That's markers. This is a markers class. So we'll be using Copic markers for that. And then we have this one, this image, and this one's pencils. So we'll be using Prismacolor Premier colored pencils for that one. I'll get them both ready. And if anybody, if even one person tells me I'd like you to do markers or I'd like you to do pencils next, I will do it. It doesn't matter to me. As a matter of fact, the reason I'm asking is because I'm having some decision impairment. I love both. I love markers and pencils. So, yep. I'm gonna go to lunch. This has been the morning art session here at my place on the internet, which is Periwinkle Palace Arts, and I'm Princess Bun Bun, and I'm here with all my bunnies to do art with you and maybe inspire you to pick up some art. And at some point I'll be starting to focus on things like mental and physical health and how art fits into that whole picture for you. And have lots of other things we're going to talk about when I'm not talking about the art, because like today was mostly talking about the art. I understand that because there was a lot to talk about. I was showing you what I do. Yeah, so come back either this afternoon. I don't promise afternoon sessions because sometimes after lunch I'm wiped out, but either this afternoon or I'll see you at 8:30 tomorrow morning, 8:30ish. Either way, thank you for stopping by. If you enjoyed this, hit like if you want. If you didn't enjoy it, hit dislike if you want. It's not going to hurt my feelings. And if you want to, you can subscribe. And if you want to, you can turn on the bell notification. I haven't started scheduling lives yet, but if you want to see the notifications when I go live, there you go. You can do all that stuff if you want to. It's not going to faze me if you don't. But if you do anything at all, I'd like to hear from you. Comment, say hi, ask a question. Tell me what you're doing today. Most of all, have a beautiful day because you're beautiful. Bye. Y'all, I lost my mouse. You want to just stay with me during lunch? We can have a lunch session. Nah, I gotta get up and do stuff, or my dogs will like. My dogs are already freaking out. What, Eve? Do you guys want to meet my dog? I have two. Stop putting your feet on there. No, paws down. Paws down. So I have two dogs, and they're real dogs. Like, they live. They look pretty much exactly like each other, except one is big and one is small. I have a Chihuahua and I have a Pit Bull. I got the Pit Bull, and the people told me he was a Chihuahua. And then he grew really big. I didn't mean to get a Pit Bull. I don't have anything against them, obviously. But at the time, my youngest was really small, and he started getting bigger than her, and that was a problem. Do you see my dog fussing at me? Okay. Come here, Eve. Eve came to us after probably being dropped off by somebody. Come here. Sit down. Sit down. Ow. Don't scratch me, honey. Don't scratch me. Usually when I play with Evie, I sit on the floor and play with Evie because she scratches me a lot and my skin can't handle it. So if she's up here, you'll see me holding her paw. Hey, Wiggles. Hey, Wiggly. Oh, what are you doing? Are you having a day? Did you take a good nap? I love my Evie dog. Oh, she has such stinky breath. She needs to have a few teeth pulled. They're kind of rotted. They smell bad. We haven't done it yet. We're going to do it as soon as we can. This is Evie. Her name is Christmas Eve because she literally showed up here on Christmas Eve. And that was in, I want to say it was in 2013. So she's old. She's old. She was about, they estimate she was about like born around February. So when she came to us in December, she was just a few months old. This is Evie. Evie, baby. And when she's being a little difficult old lady, I call her Evelyn. Anyway, this is my emotional support animal. You want to get off camera now? Or do you like being on camera? We don't know if she likes being on camera. This is her first time on live, y'all. Oh, wait. Last tip before I go to lunch. If you have dogs, when you're done for the day or a time period, I highly recommend a piece of wax paper or parchment paper. Put it over the area that has the exposed adhesive and set something on top of it. That will prevent your dog hair from getting all over your project and sticking to it, which is really annoying. You want down? Okay, you ready to go out? My other dog is in his kennel right now. He's waiting his turn patiently to go. Yeah, in a new house, you guys are going to have a dog door. And you won't have to wait for me. Oh, stop it. Oh, stop it. She wants to play Go Run today, I can tell. The game we play. I sit on the kitchen floor, and I hold her like she's going to run off. And like, I say, all right, go run, Evie. And she runs all the way through in here. And then she waits for me to say, hey, what you doing? And then she takes off back towards me like this. Okay, I'm being ridiculous, y'all. I'm hungry. Bye. Again.